Happy April, new month of content, new topic. This month we'll be focusing on the psychology of wealth, as we typically do in April. We would have tax day on April 15th, but apparently they moved it. But we haven't done it in a while, so I thought it was time. And I want to start off with a reminder, which I mentioned in the email, the invite for tonight. Why is it so important to focus on the mental side of your money-making vehicle, whatever that is, whether it's a job, a business, a side gig, whatever it is that you're doing to make some extra cash, make this your lifestyle, your main source of income. It's even more important than the technical side of things, trainings, courses, improving your knowledge or your skills within the vehicle, because just like the perfect diet metaphor, all diets work, even the crazy, as we like to joke, lemon, cayenne pepper, model diet. It works. It may not be the most effective or the most healthy, but you'll lose the weight if that's your goal, if you follow it, right? They all work. Again, some better than others. We cover that a lot in our health topic and our health portion. But you follow the system, you follow the program, it works. The question is, do you follow it? How well do you follow it? How well do you apply it? How well do you follow the rules? Where does it break down? Just like, or just working harder at something, again, like a diet, it may produce, some results, maybe above average, but rarely does it produce long-term success. If it's just this work hard mentality and grind it through, and especially if you're running an I have a nightmare speech, as we like to joke, this is so hard, I can't do this, I just want to eat something sugary, and I don't like vegetable. If that's the speech that's running while you're trying to follow this diet, again, it's not going to be something that can be sustained. So rarely will it produce epic success. And that's what we're all about here. How do we produce not just good wealth, but outrageous, extraordinary wealth? How do we create this lifestyle, this abundance, the wealth place that you want to be, whether it's financial freedom, or to go on an extra vacation or two a year, or, pay for a child's college tuition, whatever your outcomes are. You want to know and really buy into this notion that focusing on the mental side, the mindset of whatever your money-making vehicle is even more important than the technical side. And doing this work will work. It will gain the wealth you're looking for if you follow it. If you answer the questions that I'm going to be asking you, if you use the tools that I'm going to be giving you throughout this month, and all the tools within the Inevitable You system, because they all apply. This is all an operating system, a mental software that we're working on, that we're upgrading, that we're improving. So again, the question is, will you do the work? That's not a good color. Will you do the work? Will you answer the questions and not just sit there and ponder it and think about it, muse over it, but with actually collapsing it down onto a piece of paper, writing your answers down, looking at your language, looking at the thought patterns that are running, because it's all going to reveal this mental software that we focus so heavily on. So what do I mean by software? Let's level set some things here. Again, a quick refresher. Life is software. Everything is driven by this mental operating system. The patterns and programs that are running, that are creating the results, right? So, man, my pen. It's doing it again. Hold on. The patterns and programs that are installed by family of origin, by, honed by life experiences. These bundles of neurons that get wired in, these patterns that we fall into, and that these equations that we run constantly about life, I will, I won't, I can, I can't, up to this point, but not past this point. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't believe, but I believe this. These belief systems that we run, all of this fits into what we're calling software. Reality is driven by the software that's running, and we focus on language so much because that's our best tool. It's our best tool for revealing those equations, revealing those programs, being able to take a look at the software. Why do you run a certain belief versus another belief? Well, it's going to have its roots in your family of origin, meaning your parents, the people you spent the most time with early on in life, that programmed you to think a certain way. So that's what we're focusing on. When I talk about software and the mental side of things, the mindset, that's what we mean. And then once you really understand this, it's just a process of let's upgrade what we already have. Let's take old you, or Windows, whatever year you were 5 years old, Windows 92, let's make it current to Windows 2021, or take it beyond Windows 2025. And we design that consciously, using a model of the world, using, tools available to us, writing it down. We're installing it by taking action. We're using it, we're iterating, we're making improvements, we're making in-flight adjustments, seeing what works, what doesn't work, what's effective, what's, maybe creating outcomes that are undesirable, and now we're addressing a different issue. So it's this constant and never-ending improvement, this constant process of upgrading. And that's an exciting process. It's a process of growth, right? And exploration, and getting to this place, these outcomes that you're going to set for your wealth creation. And it's also crucial to understand that we have applications running on the operating system. So if you think of Windows, right, as your primary interface that you're using with your computer, the applications that are installed on it, Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, and Outlook for your email, and Facebook for your social, these are equivalent to these categories of what your life is. So when you talk about and you look at what your life is today, your job and your career, well, my job's doing all right, but maybe my love isn't so great, and health is doing okay, or no, I'm a 10 here, that's good, I'm firing all cylinders there. So we have applications within the software and the operating system that are running simultaneously, but also being dictated by the limitations or the capacity of the operating system. So that's why we focus on the entire operating system first, because it's going to drive all other applications. And, with something like tonight, when we're talking about money, we're focusing on a specific application. There's a specific set of equations that are running here, and specific tools that we can use to upgrade this application for you. And so today it's really about one of the most difficult ones for a lot of people. When we talk about money, making it, paying bills, does it buy happiness, or some happiness, or not at all? And why we get so squirrely about it, right? We're taught not to talk about it at the dinner table, or it makes us uncomfortable. Well, guess what? Again, why that happens, it's all going to come back to the software, the beliefs, the mindset. So, some common beliefs about wealth and abundance. Again, they're going to begin with our family of origin programming and honed by life experiences. Some things that hold us back that we believe to be true, we say, oh, I learned that at home. I learned that from dad. Dad was a hard worker. Mom was stay at home. Some of what you learned at home was false, and you discarded it and never turned back to it. Bound and determined to change it, or not do those things that you learned at home. Some things you started out against and you came around to then believe in. Maybe it was something mom or dad told you about, budgeting and how money's supposed to be made, and you fought against it, didn't want to believe it. Later on, you're like, I should have maybe listened to them earlier on in life. And some of the things out there, or that you learned, some you actually hated and just wanted to change it but couldn't, and never changed. So all of these things we want to become conscious. We want to take a good look at what were these messages from family of origin. What did I learn early on? What are my beliefs? And so this is a big moment, should be, for those maybe that haven't heard this message before. You're driven by conscious and unconscious ghosts, voices, programs, mostly unconscious, by the way. But that's the bulk of this work. We want to bring that into our consciousness so we can change it, enhance it, get rid of it. And so some of these things that you learned, they were for positive, or you thought they were for positive gain. And so example we love to use here is the person that grew up on the wrong side of the train tracks, just bound and determined to never, I'm never going to be poor again. I'm never going to live that kind of life. I don't want that life for my children. I'm never going to be poor. Yeah, well, that will get someone a whole lot of money. That's actually, there can be a lot of power in that for gaining money. The question is, in that kind of mindset, in that kind of belief, when do you ever get to feel wealthy and rich? If it's framed on not being poor, at what point, if ever, do you get to feel wealthy? So think about that. Some limits and holds you back, and some of that can even appear positive. Again, don't get your hopes up, or don't be disappointed, don't lose your hard-earned money. Well, guess what all of these are examples of? Yeah, they are away patterns. They're focused on what you don't want. These are our don't spill the milk kind of programs that the more you focus on it, the more it actually happens. It's an attraction for these things to happen versus, if you were to frame these as a towards pattern, don't get your hopes up. Well, maybe it's, no, get your hopes up. And, when something does happen, I have tools in place to manage that. I know how to manage failure better now because I have those tools in place. Don't be disappointed. Same thing. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Well, why even frame it as losing? Why, you're already programming it to be lost. Versus no, make wise investments with your hard-earned money. Make smart decisions. Evaluate the risk-reward equations. Consult with other people. Use your hard-earned money to accelerate your growth. That's a totally different statement. It has totally different energy. It will create totally different outcomes than these old away patterns, very well-meaning, designed to protect you, to keep you safe. But in reality, when you look at it, they don't actually help you. But they were well-meaning when they were installed from family of origin. And people don't want you to get hurt. Old software doesn't want you to get hurt. So these things continue to run. They perpetuate. They get reinforced over time. We think, well, because meteor hasn't ripped out of the ceiling and knocked a pitcher of milk out of my hands yet, then why should I stop worrying about meteors? It's because I worry that hasn't happened, right? Yeah, no. Because also in this mindset of worry and fear and scarcity, is that a very pleasant, emotional place to be? Or is it racks your nervous system. It affects your health. It affects your well-being. That's why these kind of programs bleed into other applications. It runs across the entire operating system. But when we're focusing on an application like money, now you can see how this plays out in other arenas. So this is what I want you to do. This is your homework to get started with this. Dig into your memories. Really think about, put yourself in a resourceful state, a peak state. Don't just do this when you're tired or angry or not feeling well. Put some great music on. Get excited that you're finally taking control of these old programs and patterns, these old software that has held you back for so long. And do this with joy and gratitude and excitement to find out exactly what it is. What's that one turn of the combination lock? What's that key that's going to just unlock all of this for me? Yeah, it's going to come out in these answers when you really look at what your truths are, what your beliefs are about money, your thoughts, what you feel about money. Write everything down, all of it. What comes to mind when you think about it? There's not enough, can't get it, it's too hard, it's easy, it's flow. So we also have a tool available. This is waiting for you on the member site. If you want to take a really deep dive on this, I'm just giving you one question here. Just open up your journal and just let the pen flow. Write everything that comes to mind. But we have a model of the world designed specifically for money. If you go to the website, go to the money course, you're going to find this model of the world there available to download. This has a whole bunch of questions, just like the normal model of the world, which is designed to capture your entire operating system. So if you haven't done that yet, you'd be well served to even do that before this. Because again, the program's patterns are going to reveal themselves in your language. But this one specifically, it's just about money. So what are your beliefs, empowering and disempowering? What's your story, your autobiography? What do you believe about how wealthy people create money, and which ones do you practice, which ones do you have you not done or don't do so well? So you're going to get a great clear picture on where you stand in the existing software for your wealth creation strategies. So that's how I want to start this whole series on money for this month. Again, going back to the basics, focusing on software, focusing on language, looking at your beliefs, capturing these things, taking a good look, not just thinking about it, collapsing them onto paper. You take a real good black and white look and then come to the next call with questions, or hey, I discovered this old belief, or this in my financial model of the world. What do you think about this? What's a tool I can use to rewrite this belief? Asking great questions will put you on the path to finding great answers for creating this epic wealth place that you're wanting.